I'm Rob.
And I'm Louie.
And this is the in-depth Unchained for Oculus Quest review
by Barefoot Gaming.
Alright, Louie, if you haven't played in-depth before, what's the premise?
Premise is you are a soul trapped in Purgatory and you need to fight your way out, or at least deeper into the abyss.
And that's kind of how this one works comparatively. If you are familiar with the other one, this doesn't just have Purgatory. Once you get, 40%?
40%.
When you get 40% done in Purgatory, it unlocks the ability to go into the abyss, which would be the anti-version of Purgatory. Purgatory is very white and airy.
Yes. Or maybe it's the anti-version of heaven. Who knows?
Yeah, it's kind of like a, not quite heaven and hell, but it's like the pathway to each, maybe. Yes. Would be a good description. Yep. And in the Purgatory, you're always heading up. In the Abyss, you're always heading down.
Yes.
Everything is procedurally generated.
And the maps, just like the old game, are huge. So there are times where you'll actually, as you're meandering through, you'll actually lose your way and you'll start heading backwards. And that's where knowing whether you're going up or down will matter quite a bit.
Absolutely. And you don't have to just go straight. Like, just because there's a building, you don't have to go into the door. If you want, you can shoot onto the roof. How do you move around this game, Louis?
You move around with the magical arrow or the magic rock.
Now, as we're saying this, actually, apparently, at the time of recording this, that's the only way to move around, either with the teleportation arrow or with the shard. But that is something that apparently is going to be added to this. My understanding is smooth locomotion is coming. If by the time you're watching this, it may already be available.
Yeah. Right.
The enemies scale with you. That's another really important point.
Yep.
For example,
how Rob always kills me when I start playing these games, because he's already played it for a few days, because he's a jerk.
I really am. I'm a jerk, and it'll get crazy difficult. And if you don't know that, like, the archers start off really easy, and they're not great aim,
and they're far apart. They're not all grouped together.
And the guys with armor, they'll get better. The throwing axes, everything will improve.
Yeah, you'll unlock wraiths and
there'll be
other
portals.
Yeah, and other archers.
Absolutely.
With different garbs on, so that you know they're different and more deadly.
And we're talking Purgatory only. As soon as you start going into the Abyss, now you've got all kinds of flying creatures moving around.
Yes.
The environment is totally different. Some of the enemies are similar, but most of them are quite different. Yeah. So the
very, very devil-y by comparison.
Absolutely. Unchained has basically doubled the amount of content that the other regular in-depth has. Now, this is $35 Canadian. So any other pros? Any other cons?
I don't think so. How about you?
I'm going to say a pro is the fact that it's untethered. I can't believe how much more immersive it is that I can spin all directions. Because honestly, when I'm playing in-depth on a wired system, like my Index or the Rift or anything else, I'm constantly, having to backspin just to make sure that I can get that all straightened out.
Yep.
I would say a con is graphically it has taken a hit. I don't care what I've seen anybody else say online. This doesn't look as good as it does on my Index.
And I didn't notice that until right now. In the first game, if you land on a ledge and there's a huge expanse underneath you, I'm not very afraid of heights, and it makes me kind of go and be a little bit afraid. This game, I didn't have any of that.
My second thing is the fact, again, and this is probably more an issue because I'm so used to playing it on PC, is the binocular vision of the Quest really, really stood out to me. And if you haven't played this on anything else, it's not going to matter. But I feel like everything is more binocular, because it is, right? Your field of view is smaller on the Quest, and it was noticeable to me.
Yep.
Tracking was something that I had a lot of trouble with.
Right, especially having played so much of the original game, and he and I both shoot in real life.
So when you pull a bow back, right? When you pull it and notch it behind your face, that is not a good tracking space for the Quest.
Yes.
So what ends up happening is every time you pull your hand back and you've got your other hand forward,
the arrow will kind of cock to the side, and
or both of your hands will show up in front of you in a weird position, like jumping. And so what I had to do is I actually found it was easier if I ran my bow horizontal and then just kept my other hand in front of my face, knowing that it was in front of the camera.
And how did that affect your distance for the long shots?
It didn't really affect the distance, it affected my aim.
Okay.
Because it felt like pulling back further wasn't actually making a difference in that case. Maybe because of the length of my arms, I don't know. But
I've put too many hours into the first game. I couldn't change the way I shoot.
All of those cons that I've listed do not mean that I don't highly recommend this game. In Death on the Quest.
It's a good game.
Buy it. If you don't have it, and if you have any interest in archery, this is the best archery game out there, both on PC and on the Quest. And that's our review. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment. That's it. We'll talk to you again real soon. See ya.
Bye.